What's up, everybody? Welcome to Are You Down with LPT, the podcast where agents like you share their stories, experiences, and insights to help each other level up and thrive. In every episode, we're diving deep into the real-life challenges, wins, and lessons from the front lines. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just getting started, this is the place to connect, learn, and grow together. So, if you're ready to get down with LPT and take your game to the next level, let's jump in. Welcome back to Are You Down with LPT? This is our company podcast talking, kind of diving into the trenches with our agents, getting on the front line. And today we are with our 225? I guess it'd be a 2025 would be a more proper, right? Yeah, 2025 was last year. We are with our 2025 Rookie of the Year, Richard Pierce. Richard, how you doing?
Doing good.
Yeah.
I want to know what this 225 thing
225.
Is that my bonus?
Yeah, that's the bonus that you get for hitting Rookie of the Year. Congratulations, $2.25.
Well
Got you a
played.
check on that. Yeah. So, give a little background. I know some of these guys, out there know you, some don't, but your life before real estate, what were you doing before real estate?
A lot of retail management. I managed Starbucks. I managed with Panera Bread.
Oh.
I worked for Valley Church here in town for 6 years. Anything and everything, I guess I did.
Yeah. All right. Well, I knew you were at Valley. Didn't realize the Starbucks and Panera part of that too. So
The funny thing about Starbucks and Panera is I don't drink coffee.
you managed Starbucks and didn't drink coffee. Oh man, I enjoy Starbucks. So why the leap into real estate?
It just seemed like an opportunity. I was working at Valley Church and just connecting with people and helping people, and this sort of seemed like the natural thing. And then talking to Jim Hibbs, just about having your time be your time.
Yep.
It seemed like an opportunity that made sense.
I think knowing you, getting to know you over the last couple of years, I can see that desire to help people. And that is an attribute in real estate that I think brings people a lot of success as it has for you. When you think back the first year, because when did you officially start?
July of 24.
Yeah, July of 24. So if you can remember back to July of 24, take those first 6 months. What'd you think of the first 6 months?
They're scary, but the piece, I think Ted said it, what kind of realtor do you want to be? And just being authentic to yourself and doing what you want to be doing and the service you want to get. I've tried to stay true to that.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you've had a lot of success doing it. That first 6 months, ever a time when you're like, I don't know, I'm going to do this? Or were you always pretty confident? Like, hey, I got this.
I'm a confident dude, but the first 2 months where there's nothing happening.
Yeah.
And again, just not being a secret agent, just putting a Facebook post saying I'm a real estate agent doesn't suddenly bring everybody to your sphere in front of you. So being out there and kind of uncomfortably places where you don't want to go, knocking on doors and cold calling people.
Well, yeah, talk about that then. What would that structure look like, say, your first 90 days when, you don't have business, you're just getting going. So I think a new agent's getting going. What were some of the activities that you started doing in those first 90, 120 days that maybe helped you not only then, but really set the tone for, 2025 as well?
Just talking real estate. I had a sphere of influence from working at Valley Church, so I knew a lot of people and just letting them know that I am a realtor. And then I think it was a Tom Ferry podcast that I heard that worked for me. Instead of asking people and sort of desperately begging them for business, even though you do need it, is asking them, do they know of somebody who is looking to buy, which seemed less intrusive. Yeah. But people would go, I do, me.
Yeah.
And so
that's even better.
Now
I can help you.
Yes, I can do that. So,
and so you look now, if I look then back on the last year, 2025, did you set a goal to start the year, or was it kind of like, I'm putting my head down and going?
I was very goal oriented.
Yeah. Have you always been a goal oriented person?
Very goal oriented.
Yeah.
So
did you end the year pretty close to your goal?
I ended very close. I wanted 24 transactions. Yeah. I think I ended with 20 or 21.
Yeah.
I wanted a little more in dollar figure, and I wanted to hit the top 15 and just missed that too. So,
yeah. Well,
I know you probably know this, but don't fully understand it, is like to do what you did in your first full year is pretty incredible. My first full year, I sold 10 houses, half of what you did. And I did not win rookie of the year. And I really felt like I deserved it. And they didn't give it to me, but
I'll write your name on the back of mine.
thank you. Thank you. We can share that award so I can.
Definitely.
Yeah. So amazing year. Was there a spot during the year when you felt like that momentum was coming on, or did it just kind of hit?
It happened. The irony of the year was July and August, which are usually hot months, were my two slowest months, and were really tough because everybody in the office is like, I closed another deal. I closed another one. And I'm like, I'm not working with anybody.
Yeah.
And it just worked. I was at church and saw Jill Roger and randomly said, hey, how's it going? And she said, good. And she said, how about you? And I said, good. And then I looked at her and I said, not really. And she goes, oh, me either. And strangely, the two of us had really slow July and August. But it was good to hear it wasn't just me.
Yeah.
But got momentum towards the end of the year, just started working with people and just being patient with people and just the relationships that I built. Like I play pickleball to kind of keep peace of mind and stay fit, I guess. But two of those people I played pickleball with for years suddenly had a brother that or a sister that needed to buy and sell. So that was just what they call the double dip.
The double dipper.
I'd had a couple of those that came out of nowhere.
Well, that's, one thing which is true for you last year and will continue to be true. Like real estate has some ebbs and flows to it. And I think when things are really good, it's kind of like, hey, we got to put our head down. We got to make hay while we can make hay. And then when it's slower is the time when we really got to dig in and build those relationships, make those calls that, maybe for the people that we met a while ago, or, it's easy when the low hanging fruit's there, but when we really got to buckle down is when things are a little slower and we got to build that pipeline up again. The trick is building the pipeline while we're busy house showing, so we see less of that, the ebbs and flows. So just to talk about, I guess what maybe drives your success. I've seen this and you've just even already talked about it, but where do you think most of your business came from last year?
Most of it from my sphere of influence. I lead a life group, a Bible study at my church, and there were 14 people in that. And I think 10 of them had transactions in the last year and a half with me, and several of them multiple transactions. So that's been good.
I think that's where it starts. Like for you, church, life group, for other people, could be that. It could be wherever you are. I think the key is we're building relationships, not just for business. I mean, for life, certainly, but wherever your passion lies, or, gifts, talents. I think of friend Rob Bish, and Rob is big in the pool world, and, he hunts, and you think about where you are and building those relationships there. For me, over the course of 8 years, we had the same sports team, right? And there was probably 20 to 25 for my son's baseball and basketball team. There's probably between the two through those years, probably 30 different families. I sold at least half, and most of them I sold, listed their house and sold. And,
right.
and so that's a great source. But then what happens is, this guy's brother, right? And this guy's brother. And, not only are the people that you working with or living and doing life with or buying and selling real estate, but then they know people. Kind of like back to your question from that Tom Ferry podcast, like, well, do you know? Who do you know that's thinking about buying or selling real estate?
And if somebody's asking me, hey, do you need to buy or sell? I'm like, get out of my face, but if they're like, hey, do you know anybody? That's a whole nother, my defense is down and I go, oh, let me think about it. You know what? I kind of did like you and maybe I will recommend you in the future.
Yeah. I think that's a great way to handle it. And when you do a great job of building a relationship. I think when you have that relationship, it also makes it easier on the person on the other side. Like somebody comes up to me that I have no relationship with, like, you ready to do something, you want to buy something, whatever, or even you want to know somebody. Well, if I know you and got a relationship with, like, I want to see you succeed, right? And, I trust you and I know you, and I think people more willing to recommend when you've got that. What activities now, whether it's in, when you first started or last year or even now, activities that you do consistently, to help your business?
I like to connect. I mean, that's kind of in my DNA to connect with people. So to talk about it when we're having a contest, when we're not having a contest, just to have that. So a daily routine and kind of adapting. Obviously, you have to adapt it if you have different things going on, but just having a routine and not having, July and August going back to those slow months.
Yeah.
I got really caught up on a couple Netflix shows that were really good. It didn't help our business at all. So it took a while to go, you know what? I don't have anything, but I'm still going to come into the office and have those conversations and start a routine or restart a routine. Cause I don't know if things were going great and I forgot my routine and, my head got bigger than I wanted it to. So maybe July and August was a way of going, hey,
wake up,
get back to it.
Back to the basics.
Yeah.
And I think that's a reminder, all of us, like, hey, things are slow. We got to get back to the things we were doing. We had success. Take me through, you may not, every day doesn't look the same, but you talked about, you've got a routine and things. What are some of those things that you do?
So I make a big list person. I get that from my dad and it's on paper.
Yeah.
So I make a list for the week every day, know what I'm going to do time by time, and then adapt it as people, as showings appear and this and that happens, but I kind of know what I'm going to do ahead of time. So I like to think I'm a learner. So I have a lot of webinars and podcasts and things like that. So some are okay, some are really good.
Well, any podcasts, real estate wise, maybe that works or.
I love Tom Ferry's energy. Everything about him is really great. But in LPT Connect, here's a throwback.
Yeah.
But Penny Donald has a couple.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw this, one of the first things, and it wasn't the greatest message, but what she did is, hey, every day learn one thing. If you do that, that's a successful real estate day. And so I try to do that every day. So if having a down day, I'll go, okay, I need to learn something. Okay, I'll open a book or something, or just have a conversation with Ted or you or Jim or Lisa Vance or one of those power players.
Yeah. I think there's always something to learn in this business. And even, I've been doing 23 years and don't quit learning because and the industry is always evolving and changing, and how we did things. When I first got in the business, we had little 3 sheets of paper and we were writing an offer in 3 sheets and you tear it apart and give everybody a copy. But so it's always evolving and changing. And I think as agents that want to stay productive and grow our own business, like we got to change with the times. So
I think just not necessarily prepping for this podcast here, but just, what stood out to me is just make sure you're always asking and then really listening and then just observing. Like if I look over the last year and a half of what really has helped me is not being afraid to ask, even when maybe you've asked the same question 3 times or ask 3 different people, because you'll get 3 different perspectives on it. But just be asking and be listening and be observing, and you'll gain things.
That's one of the things I really like about the Clive office, especially is, you can look out here a lot of days and there is a group of people that you can ask. Jim's around, Ted's around, Lori, and there's others around as well. And there's a great group that are resources, that are willing to be a resource. And it's fun to me to see as, your business has grown and, you've grown in real estate, like now you're becoming a resource for those newer agents. So appreciate that about you, and certainly appreciate that about others in our company as well. Anything you do consistently that you think is, as a new agent, whether it's notes or calls or anything that's been a win for your business that you do on a daily basis or weekly basis?
I'm just, it's probably a pro and a con, but I'm available. I think our kids are now both in college. So my time is a lot more real estate friendly that I can up and pick up. My wife's busy and, she comes home from teaching and is exhausted.
Yeah,
so
as long as we're not interrupting the Netflix show.
As long as we're not.
We got to get back to Netflix later and books.
That's another one.
Yeah, okay.
But, I am available. So I like being able to do that. I don't do as well a good job with time blocking that I should. But so I had a guy who's just like, hey, I'm ready to buy, but I want to see one more. I'm like, we can go tonight. And he's like, oh, we can make this work. So we went to see one more, and then it wasn't the one. He went back and wrote on the other one. So for better or worse, we kind of have to be that in this business. Sure. And your life stage right now makes that a little easier. But no matter where you're at, stage of life, there has to be this sense of flexibility. Still want to control our schedule, and still own it. But that's definitely one of maybe the
the things we don't love about this business is there's a lot of flexibility, and at the same time, there's no flexibility.
And I think the other thing, and it's not as user friendly for a newer agent, but knowing it's for the long game.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
a
that's right.
relationship that you connect with somebody today. I got a lead and talked to them, and they were like, "Yeah, we're not going to be ready till next year." I'm like, "Excellent, I have you down. What month do you want me to call you in 2027?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "You're serious?" I'm like, "I'm 100% serious. I've got my planner right here. How about if I call you in October, tell you happy Halloween?" They're like, "Yeah, call me in October. You can call me before that." And so suddenly we're joking about it, but I'm like, "Great, I already have one in 27.
Yeah. So do you put that in your planner on your phone, or where
I
you
put
put
it in
that?
my planner. I write it down.
Yeah. You got a physical planner.
I have a
and you're
physical
writing it down.
planner. My wife makes fun of me. Most people make fun of me, but I like seeing it and I like crossing things off.
I think whether you use a planner or you get a CRM, like you have to have something because nobody has the memory, or you're not going to remember to call them in October. So we got to make note of that. And whether it's in your CRM, your planner, or, a yellow sheet of paper, whatever it might be, like we got to have a system that works for us. And everybody's system might look a little different, but if it works for you, then why try to do something else if it works, right? If you could restart your first year, anything you would do different?
There was a lead I had for a sale, and when I walked into the house, it smelled of dog, and not the good part of the dog, and it needed painting. And the woman right off the bat said, "I'm not doing any work on it. This is the price I want to get," which was way over and not knowing at that time I wanted the lead. I said, "Great, let's do this." And then 14 days later, when she fired me because we didn't have any traffic because we were overpriced, and her house smelled like dog urine. That was a relief. At the time, I was, I beat myself up because I'm like, why did I lose this? And why did I get fired? And yada, yada, yada. But looking back, knowing, and I think it is Tom Ferry, but again, you want somebody you want to work with, but not just somebody do they want to work with you, but do you want to work with them?
Yeah.
And that's helped me a lot.
Yeah, it's hard to walk away from business. At any time, it's hard to walk away from business. But especially as a new agent, it's even more difficult, right? To walk away from that. But, even now, to say, okay, it's not going to sell at that price. Now, if it's close and we're in the ballpark and they're willing to, hey, we'll try at this, but do we have a plan to drop it? But are they willing to get the house in the right shape? Are they willing to get the price in the right shape? And if they're willing to work with me, I'm like, okay, I'll work with them and we'll come up with a plan. But if they're, her mentality, it is better to walk away. And sometimes then they'll call you down the road when that first agent, ran with the dog urine smell or the overprice. And now they may be more ready and I'm talking to them. I'm coming back around like, okay, well, I will do it. Here's the price. Here's the things you need to do to get your house ready to sell. But it's not easy ever to walk away from business.
Right.
But sometimes,
especially when you're new,
but sometimes it's definitely worth it. Okay. Let's talk about 2026. The year ahead. Any big goals for 2026?
I'd like to hit the top 15.
Yeah.
I'd like to be in that legacy club, not just for the swag, but, just to do it. I think it's a natural progression of where my business is at. I'd love to have somebody join who's on my potential future team.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I'd love to recruit somebody in.
Yep.
I'd like to increase my transactions, but also increase my average transaction amount.
Yep.
Because I did a lot of first-time home buyers in the 160s and 180s, which are amazing people, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. But,
you can still do those, but maybe somebody
else sells $1 million house, and I go, okay, that's 4.5. That's 5.5 of what I just did. So yeah, but I wouldn't trade the relationships.
Yeah.
Versus taking it as a transaction.
And that's what so this is only this will be your second full year in real estate, and you'll see that progression as you go, because all of a sudden those 160 people are coming back a few years later and they're selling their now $200,000 house and they're going to buy a $400,000, and there's kind of a snowball effect that happens with that. But there are ways to increase your average sale price. And you can jump on the Tom Ferry podcast, which is an amazing podcast to listen to. If you're a new agent, strongly, or any agent, but especially if you're new, that's a podcast you should subscribe to and plenty to learn. I mean, it's probably the second best podcast next to ours, I would say. But
Maybe third next to yours.
Yeah, I
yours
guess.
is first and second.
Yeah, thanks. But anything you are specifically working on your business for 2026?
Just, I mean, humility. The first year, in 6 months, I sold a bunch, and everybody was going, "Wow, Richard's so great!" And then I win Rookie of the Year, and everybody's like, "Richard's so great," and like not taking that to heart, but being humble and going back to the grindstone and going, "Okay, this is a new year. We got to do this again." It kind of took it like my favorite team, the Patriots. You know, going back yep, we won the Super Bowl, but okay, it's a new year. Let's do this.
I think anytime you think you're something, you just wait. You wait long enough, and you're going to get humbled in a hurry. And even 23 years, I'm like, I got this. And then somebody's like, well, we decided to use somebody else. I'm like, what do you mean you're not using me? And it's always humbling. But there's lessons to learn in that. Like, okay, well, why didn't they use me, or what do I need to learn from the situation? And you said at the beginning is, okay, we always got to keep learning, and what's the next thing we need to learn?
And I think somebody said it, maybe it was Lisa Vance, but like when you don't get a listing, somebody else does, maybe following up and asking, why did you choose them?
Yeah.
And that's a tough place to be, but it's also great because then you literally...
You learn.
Yeah.
You learn from it. I think that's a great thing to do and would encourage it. Somebody doesn't want to work with you. I mean, it is what it is. They're going to work with whoever they want to work with, but what could you have done and learn from that experience?
Yeah.
That's where we learn probably more, right? Mistakes or things we need to work on. Yeah. So a couple more questions then. You said Netflix earlier. What do you have a recommendation? I'm looking for a new show. Is there any great shows or Netflix or other places?
Danger. I'm watching with my wife. She likes,
Murder mysteries.
She loves murder podcasts. Yeah. Anywhere we're driving, we listen to those. So anything murder, she'll like that. That came out wrong. Don't misinterpret that. But we like some of the limited series are good.
Yeah.
The offshoots of Yellowstone a couple of those were really good. Yeah. I'm going to say the years wrong, so I won't say them.
Yeah.
But a couple of those were really good. Yeah. We've liked a couple shows.
You were talking about any books, any books that jump out, real estate related or life related or whatever related that have been go-tos for you?
When I worked at the church, when I worked at Panera Bread, John Maxwell, Leadership.
Yeah, leadership,
still speaks in a different way. So I like reading it now from a different perspective. Yeah. But love him and where he comes from and just the humility and just the doing it for the relationship and for other people and to grow other people. And then Pete just gave me some book about scaling. Can't remember who that is. That's pretty good. I like that. And Jay's giving me the $1 Million Lead or something.
Yeah. $1 Million Real Estate Agent.
That's the one.
Gary Keller.
Yes. Yeah. And Jay swears by that. I haven't started, but that's next.
That's next on the list. Yeah. Yeah. I got to listen to Jay. Yeah. So we've kind of started a little group, that sophomore class that I know you've been bringing those new agents along. What's that called and what's that all about?
What is it called? It's called...
You don't know. You show up and lead
Challenge something.
When is it?
It is Thursdays, 11 to 12:30. You can bring questions. You can bring concerns. We can talk real stuff. We can we talk about wins. So we start every meeting with what's a win you had the last week. So if you had 6 closes, that could be your win. If you're a new agent, you made connection on the phone with somebody, that's a win. So just the idea behind that is to get it so people are thinking a positive thing happened instead of, oh, I didn't make any money. Oh, I didn't sell anything. Oh, this and that. What is a win? So kind of helping people find that. And then the group itself has just gotten really excellent and trusting and a safe place. So it's a good place to learn. It's a good place to listen. It's a good place to share. So if you think, again, in July and August, when I spoke to Jill Roger and she's like, oh, I'm going through that too. I think I'm the only one in misery and everybody else is buying new cars like Jim Hibbs. Sorry, Jim. But it's just a way to have a network and have people and be able to ask questions, because sometimes the office is intimidating or you don't know, you can walk into Barney or Sue's office, even though you don't know them, and they'll answer you amazingly, but not everybody's going to walk in there and just go, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It's it's tough because in this business we all struggle from time to time. But obviously, we're not going to go blast that on Facebook like, "Oh, what a rough month! I sold one house in the last 3 months," or whatever it might be. And so I think having that support and talking through it, and then saying, "Okay, now what are the activities I need to work on and switch?" So I appreciate you leading. That's 11 to 12:30 in Clive on Thursdays.
Yes.
Who would be invited to that?
Anybody who wants to come and be open and learn and just, have people to connect with. It's become a very good group. There's respect in the room, and Tracy Carr herself shows up, and
Wow.
there's
Big time.
real questions for Tracy segment. Nobody's really taking her up on it, but ethical questions, I think.
Yeah.
But it's just a good conversation. I usually create a agenda and we don't go anywhere near it. We're all over the place, but somebody will have something they're going through that's real with a house or a buyer or something, and they'll share it, and everybody kind of shares their opinion or ideas about it. Rafal just recently joined, and she came and she's sort of was very quiet because I guess she's just very quiet. I don't know her very well, but then the second or third meeting, she shared something. We were all able to, kind of help her. And then afterwards she texted like, that was really helpful. Like,
that's awesome.
It was like, this is what it's about. Like, come every Thursday.
Yeah. So, well, hopefully we would love that group to continue to grow and meet. And because I think there's a lot of, when similar people in similar spots are kind of getting together and chatting through it, I think there's a lot of value in that. So, well, Richard, we appreciate you. We congratulate you again on an amazing 2025 and the Rookie of the Year here at Legacy, and excited for the future. Big things ahead. So best of luck on that, and thank you for all you do within the company.
Thank you so much.
That's a wrap for today's episode of Are You Down with LPT? Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you get some valuable takeaways to apply to your journey. New episodes drop every Friday, so make sure to subscribe so you never miss out. And hey, if you have your own story you'd like to share or questions you'd like to dive into, hit us up. Until next time, stay down with LPT and keep leveling up. Catch you in the next one.